Unravel is a lighthearted 2.5D platformer that came out on February 9th of 2016, made by an indie studio called Coldwood, the same people who made Ski Racing 2006. While their history of game development may be inferior, their newest one definitely stands tall overall. This game has a beautiful soundtrack, amazing, luscious, realistic scenery, and quite the emotionally effective story. If there's any game out there that can be said to have been made with the developer's heart, it's this game. There are various memorable scenes in each and every level that you pass through, each having their own unique style, which probably would have been easy considering this all takes place in the lovely outskirts of Umeå, Sweden. I am absolutely in love with this game, ever since I got it half a year ago. There's only one thing, no one talks about this game. Despite all the things I said, this game got quite the financial flop since its release, and I really can't tell why. This is one of my favorite games. I wouldn't even call it a masterpiece, yet I've never heard anyone talking about this game. No one. You know, it really makes me sad. Although the small amount of attention it does get is praise, this game never got the popularity it deserves. The reason I'm making this analysis video is because the ending of this game is kind of mystified and unclear. Most of this game revolves around that sort of story that's only told with symbolism and visuals. I looked everywhere on the internet for an ending analysis video for this game, but there isn't one. So I decided to make an interpretation of my own and made this video because I think it needs and deserves to be made. From here on out there will be spoilers, so if you wish to not hear key stories and pieces of content of this game, click out of this video. To unravel the full story and meaning behind this game, first we're going to have to look at all the levels, all the cutscenes, and all of the game. Beginning this game, you see an old lady looking upon her framed pictures. She sighs and walks upstairs, obviously upset, but before she's fully out the shot, a small ball of red yarn falls out from her basket she's carrying. This is where the game starts. You're in her home, strewn with photographs across portraitist levels. You click on the first picture, which is of family, but as the camera zooms in, most of them disappear, only leaving the woman behind. Your first level is out and around the house. It's a very sunny day, out crawling with summer vegetation everywhere you go. This level teaches you all the basic moves you'll need to do in this game, such as shooting out yarn, climbing on your own yarn to escape from unescapable situations, and making small yarn bridges that can either act as a trampoline or, well, a bridge. The level ends falling into a pile of leaves and discovering this small yarn craft that resembles a flower. In every level you find similar yarn crafts in the end of them. You put these yarn crafts on a book in the main area, and the point of the entire game is to collect them all. Another thing that happens with every level is that after you finish them, a small phrase and some pictures are added to the book. I'll go into more detail about this later. The next level is called The Sea, which shows a small boy and a girl playing with a crab alongside the Gulf shore. This foreshadows the number of crabs you must escape from in this level, and the location set you must face them in. You must dodge with passing waves numerously, and get to even ride a boat in the end of it. The yarn craft you get in this level represents a fish. You put it on the book and move to the next level. This level is called Berrymire, which shows what could be the same little boy and girl skipping along the forest with an adult to keep watch. This level is humid and musty, mosquitoes all around you at all times. The level ends with acquiring the next yarn craft, that resembles, of course, a mosquito. This level is called Mountain Trek. This is my favorite level because not only is it beautiful, it represents what the adventurous feel of the game is so well. This level has you running away from a wild lemming, although it does go well in the end. You get to ride a fish, run from oncoming logs, even fly away in a bag. The ending gives you a yarn craft that resembles a butterfly. The next level is called Off the Rails. The picture appears to be the boy and the girl. Yes, that is a boy, grown up together. Their initials carved into a tree. This level is rustic, a bit more machinery than before. It starts off in the middle of nowhere. You are very far from home. There's quite the obstacles in the way from your destination, but your determination drives you on. You end up boating down a stream, battling against heavy electric equipment, scaving past large falling rocks from a sloped cliff, and just barely missing it. In the end, you're parallel with the train tracks, and you spot your next yarn craft. A close call comes your way, but you still manage to grasp it. I'm honestly not sure what this yarn craft is meant to be, but it resembles an infinity sign or a loop, which maybe could resemble the train tracks. It is dark inside, and the music has changed to a sorrow theme. This will continue on in the next level. Down in a hole. It's a dark and stormy night. It's desolate. A car passes on top of you, but you make it unscathed. The pretty green scenery is gone, and the only green scenery you're gonna get in this level is the green glowing toxic waste below your feet. There can only be one explanation because of this: human environment intoxication. Now, I haven't told you about this yet, but in every level there's actually these small flashbacks, or memories. I haven't told you about this because they weren't important. Until now. The memory in this level shows what seems to be two biochemic industrialists, both in hazmat suits. This also proves my point from the sweep back of industrial class technology and machinery strewn about the landscape. This beauty and happiness you've seen throughout the entire game slowly starts to fade away, as it slowly starts to physically rot away from decay and mass production pollution. You spot your next yarn craft in a nearby locker, but before you can interact, a crow swoops down to take it as their own. The next level, How Much Is Enough, is all much of the same, but with a new objective: to find that crow and take the yarn craft back. You do find it in the end, huddled into a nest beside an old computer inside an old, abandoned office facility. That about concludes that level. In the new level, The Letter, life somewhat starts to come back again. Peaceful, fall to winter weather is scattered about in the growth and green. Perhaps things possibly get better along the way in the game from here to throughout. This level has you running away from crows most of the time as a key mechanic. Although in the end you stumble across a worrisome one struggling to free itself from some weathered chain link fence. Once you help the small animal, it's an immediate friendship. It takes you to your destined yarn craft, a bird, and crows are no longer a threat in the game. The level Winter Sun is a winter wonderland. You traverse through small icy caves and ride along in a small makeshift snow sled. Other than that, the level ends. You receive your yarn craft, resembling a snowflake. But unfortunately, things go downhill from here. The second to last level, Rust, takes 2 steps back into the cold industrial world of humanity. Although there is signs of shrubbery here and there, there's no doubt this is not a place for our little yarn character. We start to notice a pattern, that this is the new intended suburbia that people depend on. When you're almost finished with a level, you see a new memory. It is of a man, clenching his heart. Judging by the prescription pills nearby, there's no doubt this was a heart attack. Soon after, another memory pops up, of an ambulance truck. But why is this man so important? We grab our yarn craft and move on to the next level. If you look through the book one last time, you can see a man in a hospital bed. This is probably the same man that had the heart attack. And now, the last level. It is cold. Winds are strong, and layered snow heavies you. To keep from being taken by the wind, you must hold on to a lantern and drag it along your journey. Carrying such a thing is hard enough. It slows you down much more than you anticipated. But you must cherish this lantern with your life, or you may lose it altogether. Soon after, you lose your lantern. The only way to move on is through the cold, icy water, and clinging onto any surface that you can attach to. It is hard, but you make it. The last yarn craft. You reach for it, and... You climb out of a backpack and into a bright, magical forest, where you can swing on what looks like to be the memories, as high as you like. Whatever happened then is unimportant now, and you focus on the present. After quite a while, you stumble upon a lawn. and the credits roll, and that's the end of the game. Okay, so what the hell just happened? Well, now that you know everything there is to know about this game, we can finally actually get into the mystery solving. Sure, it took 10 minutes of your time to give you a summary, but hopefully this won't take as long. So what if I told you this? This is a love story. I'm not joking. This is a love story between the old woman in the beginning and a man. The little yarn character represents the old woman's love and bondage of the man, passing through memories when they were together. Don't believe me? Well, let me show you through my eyes. A little boy and a little girl grew up together in the outskirts of Sweden. They've known each other since they were kids. They played with each other along the shore, in the dense forest, and even when they got older, they fall in love. Their initials carved into a tree. They become happily married and are with each other forever. That is until the husband has a job for biochemical industrialism. The wife does not like this at all. She loves nature. After all, she grew up in it. After all, why would our little yarn character become sadder and struggle more through these toxic levels? Because the thing we're playing as represents her going through her memories. What she doesn't like, our little yarn boy doesn't like. After this relationship is worsening, the man's health is worsening from his job, and shortly after, he dies from a heart attack. This leaves the old woman in such a depression, such a feeling of isolation, that only her memories can comfort her. That's why we see her looking at a photograph in the beginning, and it's also why all the levels start by looking at a photograph as well. This is why we see multiple memories in each level. You are her love bonds, and you are on a quest to retrieve the memories of her past. But unfortunately, the memories are not enough for her. She can't think of the good memories without having to look at the worst one. She is so struck with loss and sadness that her love cannot go any further, and is completely unraveled. But then, what is the hand? To your surprise, the hand is actually the little girl, or more likely, a representation of the little girl. You see, this proves my point because multiple times the lead director of the game says that the yarn character we play as is in fact a literal physical form of a bond or love.
I had this thought. What if we could make a game about love? A game where the bonds we form with other people were actual, real, physical bonds, like strands of yarn. And what if you could play as a character that was actually made from that stuff?
In the midst of things, the man and the woman had a child. You can spot this child in pictures. Whenever she picks up the last strand of yarn, it represents the thought of her, the woman's child, as hope. Her child brings back these memories, as what you can see in the end, and brings them to life, as well as creating new ones. This is also why these memories help you along the way home at the end, because these new memories will take place in the home, with the woman and the child. Whenever the child picks us up the second time, it represents how she's helped the lady piece her love back together again, as in the end, we connect the last half of the heart back on the book, leaving everything together again. Hey guys, if you like this video then please be sure to subscribe. I haven't really ever made a video like this, and it's by far my longest one. So if you want to see more of these kinds of videos, be sure to let me know by either liking or just saying it in the comments. I sure had a lot of fun making it. Also, if you haven't played this game already, please play it. It may seem like I showed you guys everything, but there's actually a lot of really cool stuff in this game that I didn't cover. So if you haven't played it, please give it a go. It deserves the attention. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.